Daryl David Welke.
And tell me about this amazing vehicle.
Well, I'm a coach builder by trade, so I built this car. It's a handmade steel and aluminum car. Started life as a 1962 long wheelbase 2+2 coupe. So we shorten the car 9 inches, and then we make shorter doors, and we make wider body panels for it, alloy cockpit delete panels, and pretty much widen the front and the rear, and along with the wheels and everything. This is a stroked 4.2 liter, so it's a 4.7 liter twin overhead cam inline 6 with 3 twin choke 45 millimeter DCOE Webers.
Wow, it's incredible.
Thank you.
Okay.
I gotta do the other side yet.
So what is the reason for that? That's just to lock the hood?
Yeah, the Le Mans cars ran these buckles in case you were involved in an incident. The whole front bonnet didn't burst open. So they run those buckles on the bonnet and on the rear boot lid also.
Do you have a name for it?
It's called the Raven.
Raven, okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing, lad.
And I've never named a car before, but everybody's naming cars now. I'm like, well, it's black. Let's call it the Raven. It's just kind of a smart looking car, I think.
Yeah, it definitely is. So tell me about the interior.
It's pretty minimalistic, but the early Le Mans cars were. I mean, there's not much upholstery in there. It's quite comfortable, but it's, no carpeting or anything, because if you were to race a car like this and it began to rain, you wouldn't want to be dealing with sopping wet carpeting and other, interior components. So it's more visceral. It's more of a visceral type car with more business than pleasure, I guess you would say.
And where do you go with it?
I go to shows with it, and I like driving it out in the country, but it's one of those cars that you hate to drive because you drive it for an hour and you got to clean it for 5.
Wow, yeah. So how do you clean it?
Well, I want to avoid washing it, and getting water in everywhere, so it's basically wiped down with a damp cloth and so forth and so on, and dried and usually re-waxed. And then all the aluminum's polished again and again.
What about this car is it that most people looking at it would never know?
That it's a handmade car. It's not a kit. It's a one-of-a-kind handmade steel and aluminum car. You can't buy these parts. They're all individually handmade.
And you are the one who you did the craftsmanship.
Correct, yeah. I've been a coach builder for 41 years.
Wow, excellent.
It's an old world craft that not a lot of people practice anymore, obviously.
It's amazing. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much.
Thanks for coming and taking the time to see us today. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hi, my name is Will. This is my family is 1968 Jaguar E-Type Series 1.5. Family member bought it new in 1968 from California. Taken apart a couple times, put back together. It was finally fully restored in 2012-ish. Built motor from Bill Terry. Yeah, it's a beautiful car.
So what condition was it actually in?
So we actually have a book back here with pictures from before the restoration. So we got it in a bunch of pieces.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, okay. Bunch of pieces. It's basically in a big bin of parts from where it came from.
Wow. You did a lot of work on it.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
it took a couple years to get this thing to the way it is right now. A lot of body work, a lot of frame work, a lot of paint work.
What was the most challenging thing?
Getting everything together, really. I mean, it's fully original, so it's hard to restore all the parts, and it's expensive, takes a lot of time, and yeah, it's a fully built motor.
Wow.
Yeah, it drives like a dream. Weekend car, it's not garage queen. We actually drive it.
You do drive it.
We do drive it.
Where do you go?
I would say we've toured America a couple times. Elkhart Lake. It lives in Cedarburg, one of those, and then
Very nice.
we have the original maintenance records here, and the jack over there. Yeah, it's a tan interior, 4-speed transmission. Typical stuff you see in any Series 1.5 Jaguar. It's very similar to a Series 1 interior. Series 2 is when they changed it over to toggles, I believe. These are aftermarket carburetors we have here from Weber. Very good, bigger, more airflow. Upgraded radiator. These things are known to overheat. This overheats a little bit now. It needs air going through it, or else it doesn't get. It's not happy. Fully built insides. There's cams in it. There's board. Stainless steel headers. Custom exhaust going all the way back out the rear end. It's been like this probably for about 10 years, 10, 12 years. So I've just been keeping it, driving every weekend, just putting miles on and enjoying it.
Wow.
Cars, they're meant to be driven, they're meant to be enjoyed. That's what we're doing with it.
It's amazing. Very, very nice.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's our
Well,
pride and joy.
Thank you so much. It's up to you.
My name is Tom Streifender.
And you want, so that's an interesting vehicle, so tell me about it.
1968 Jaguar XKE convertible.
Okay.
It is a 6-cylinder engine, 4.2 liters, which probably the vast majority of the XKE cars were made with that engine. 4-speed manual transmission, disc brakes on the front, drum brakes on the rear. Very fun car to drive,
What was it like when you got it?
just like this.
Okay. And what made you, do you want to walk around and
Sure.
point out some of the things and tell me what made you decide to get this?
Well, I've always wanted one of these cars for years and years. I just have always loved this, but what made me fall in love with them to start with is what you can see from this angle. It is this bonnet line, the graceful, elegant curves, the shape, the rounded curves. This was the car that Enzo Ferrari said was the most beautiful car ever made, and you know, I believe he was right. It's just a gorgeous vehicle. This is a 1968 vehicle, and this was not a true luxury car. So it is really just a car that is serviceable. It has gauges to tell you how fast you're going and how much oil you have and that sort of thing. Switches to turn the lights on and off. But I mean, this wasn't a luxury car. It was a high-end, fast car in its day.
So where do you take it? Do you drive it anywhere?
Around, we live in an area where just a little west and north of here, there's some beautiful driving roads. Kettle Moraine area. I don't really take it on long trips. It's a 1968 vehicle, and I would rather not tempt fate.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, you are very welcome.
Please like and subscribe.